A side note, about halfway through this, about 2 years into it, I had a brief uptick that my myeloma has never gone away. So we're now 5+ years, or coming up on 6 years. I've never gotten to remission. I've never gotten to zero. I've always had M spike of around 0.3 or something, plus or minus. And I'm a IgG kappa. I've always had kappa light chain. So I was running down. You should be about 1 to 2. I was the lowest I was running probably 10 to 20, and then I started running 20 to 30. And so one of my doctors actually got me. I was scared because 3 of the 4 markers, they say you're in chemical refractory. I can't think of the right word they have for it. We're saying, yeah, your myeloma's coming back. And so I actually got put into initial phase of a CAR T trial. And I went all the way through it, all the testing, everything was great. They handed me a debit card and said, pick out a hotel. We're going to line you up in, like 3 weeks. And then turns out I wasn't sick enough for that slot. And so it was pulled, and I wasn't, no longer qualified, even though I qualified on the front end. I just, for that particular research slot, didn't qualify. And actually that was a blessing. So my overall sort of generic thing for a lot of, one of the thoughts I had was, sometimes I think there's a Garth Brooks song, "Ups, you cut out," or your picture cut out. Hello, are you? If you're still there, that's fine. Yeah, I hear you. That's fine. As long as I hear you and you can hear me, that's fine. So I think there's a Garth Brooks songs, whatever, unanswered prayers. I'm not a huge country fan, nothing against it, but yeah, that was a blessing in disguise. My one other hematologist was saying, I thought it was a little premature for you. And his other quote was, I'd like to see them sharpen the arrow a little bit more before you actually had it. Mine was keep the arrow in the quiver. But it turns out, I've now been stable at that point where I jumped up to, let's say, 20 to 30-ish for the kappas, and, somewhere 0.3, 0.4 for the M spikes, till, as of last month. I'm not going to curse myself. As of last month, I've been in that steady area for, 1.5 years. So as long as it's steady, I think stables, you don't have to be cured. That'd be another thing for people, is a lot of people get focused on, I want to be zero. And zero is great if you can get there. MRD negative is going to have a longer, deeper response. But if you can't get to MRD negative, stable's not a bad thing. And the enemy you know is better than the enemy you don't know. And so stable but good quality of life, I'll take over. Get to zero, but poor quality of life. So it needs to balance anything you do, diet, whatever else. You need to balance fighting the cancer with living your life in the meantime. And that's one of my other favorite phrases, is nature thrives on balance. So anything that's a good ecosystem or whatever else, you don't want to be too far to the left. You don't want to be too far to the right. If I get too many rabbits, then they'll die off from overpopulation. Yeah, if I get or too few coyotes, or I get too many coyotes, they'll die off of overpopulation. You want to be in that sweet spot in the middle. So when you treat your cancer, you want to get it as low as you can, but you also want to have quality of life. So you need to balance those two things out. So I'm happy, if I can't be zero in high quality life, I'll be stable in high quality life.